Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019 Career Mode, episode number 46. We're at Liege-Bastogne-Liege. We're going to go through the entirety of this race, even though a lot of the action really picks up a little bit later on with this one, a good halfway through the stage. So we'll go through the first half relatively quick, but as it is a major race, we'll see what we can do. However, I'm not bringing the strongest team ever, but you can still see it's fairly strong team for this one. Looks like I've got as many as 5 riders on a +1 boost to their race day condition before we enter it, so we should be looking at fairly strong form entering this race. But you can also see that I have no one in the top 10 whatsoever. Of course, Narvaez is our strongest rider here, just a 72 overall, but even though he's only a 72, and we do have a couple riders that are 76s, he is our best puncher. And, if you remember last season, we were all about punchy stages and getting our victories there more than anywhere else because we have a larger number of riders capable of punch. Now, the only thing about this one today is that the punch isn't necessarily what you need until the final couple climbs. Prior to that, you need a lot of stamina, a lot of resistance, and a decent mountain rating because there's tons of undulation as we go through. But the distance, the climbing are absolutely the key factors, with the victory coming down to the punch. And that is why, for example, Alaphilippe, Valverde are really the top riders here. And you look at Alaphilippe's 72 average, his mountain rating is only a 74. That's enough to get up and over, just about. And then he's got that incredible punch at the end. So that's what we'll be keeping an eye on as this loads, as it is such a huge stage and such a massive race on the calendar. It's taking a little bit longer to load than normal. Fulsang, Valverde, the other favorites, I didn't even realize that he was still on there. I thought he retired at the end of last season on the game, but he has not. Okay, he's still here. That's what happens when you have not 1, not 2, but 3 series, and 4 if you count my 2018 career mode that's still active. So 4 active series, rider movement gets a little foggy from time to time. It's all good, though. It's all good. Okay, so we were supposed to have this wonderful form among the team today. 5 riders on a positive, 2 riders on a 0, and yet we end up with 3 riders on a negative race day condition. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bell Curve. How I love thee. No, I do not. Screw you. I don't know how it is that more often than not, certainly well beyond what is considered average, I end up with negative conditions over and over again, race after race. And then the occasional one comes along and you get the positive race day condition for a bunch of climbers on a flat stage. I don't know how many times I've seen riders come out with a +5 on a flat stage and you're like, what? Really? No benefit from it whatsoever. The only 2 guys with a positive condition today, even at all in the slightest, is Owen and Narvaez. But at least Narvaez +2. Okay, it's something, I suppose. Enough whining and complaining from me. Oh, man. I'd like a glass of wine. Please? No? No? Actually, the house. We're out. We're out of wine. Oh, no. There's no shortage of signs on the walls in my house, though, that talk about the lovely, oh lovely wine. Alright, well, we are cruising through the first climb of the day. We need to get ourselves set for the long haul so I can speed this puppy along. So looking at mountains, hills, and stamina will be the three key components. Mater's got a little combination, but not all of the above. Felchi the same. Bennett just the punch. Narvaez absolutely has the best punch, meaning he is our favorite for the overall, though his mountain rating and stamina are not great. Barta is going to be pretty good in that round. Dianigi. So we've got a lot of punch here. Logan Owen has a ton of punch today, so we definitely want to protect him. I actually don't have a single rider that has a combination of all three, stamina, mountain, and hills. So that's a little bit in the ouch area. We're going to go with the guys with less hills to protect the ones with the better hill, so we can hopefully get them to the end unharmed. And that was Owen, yes. Yes. Okay, is Barta our other one? He's a 74. Dianigi. Okay, and I know you really should set them low and not go high, but you gotta do what you gotta do when you do what I'm now doing, which is speed it up and zoom out. Things happen quick. You've got to be prepared for it. So we go defensive on that. They're not riding at an 87 right now. They would ride at an 87 if the field suddenly accelerated. And if the field suddenly accelerated, well, we'd have to be prepared for that anyway. So off we go through the undulating hills, exiting Liege, going through the Ardennes forest. And for me, so many of the sites in the world of cycling I know about because of the world of cycling. Most of France I'm familiar with because of the Tour de France. This, however, is a definite exception. Bastogne, the Ardennes Forest. It's not because of Spa-Francorchamps. It's not the F1 Belgian race, but it is. So we need to send somebody to get water here. As it is Battle of the Bulge. As somebody who spent most of their career as a history teacher, World War II was my top specialty, especially as someone who themselves, before heading off to college, served in the U.S. military. Won a couple Soldier of the Month awards, which primary part of that contest is military history, so I got myself very familiar with that. And actually, back in high school, that was the only honors class that I was in, was the U.S. history one. Alright, well, we are now approaching halfway through the stage. We've got 130 kilometers to go. Here is our first serious climb of the day. However, it's not that serious. It's 11%, but it's only 900 meters in length, so we should get through that one just fine. But you can see the front runners, Mater, Felchi, Bennett, all take a little punishment as we go over protecting their riders behind, and that is their job, that is their role. We're now under 120k, so I am now into my window on our second water bottle filling of the day. But the later we go, the easier it is, because the last window for that is going to be through all that undulation. So for one thing, that shortens that window down a little bit. Climb, climb, climb again. And I think we're now getting to that point. Let's go ahead and send Mater back. once again, 97K, so we're well inside that window now. But again, we're going to need water one more time here. So we've got a small breakaway, 3 riders, 3.5 minute lead. And there you go. Okay, now we're starting to get into it. This is where things get serious. Let's go ahead and bring it down for the first serious climb of the day. 2.7 kilometers, 7% average gradient. It's not as steep as that last one, but it's 3 times the length. You can see we are blinking red with that 87. The pace is a little bit hotter at the front between Brent Bookwalter and Vincenzo Nibali. And it's doing just a little bit of damage to the team, but we're doing just fine. We seem to be holding position fairly well at an 87, so we're only slightly off the pace. They're pushing maybe an 88, 89 for us. And we're doing okay through that. And there's the top of the hill. We crest, and now we're going to go downhill and hopefully recover here. Everybody among the 7 still looking fine, though a little bit of fatigue. And we see our first split on the day, 24 riders off the back. I would imagine that they will get back on for now. However, there's another climb almost immediately, 800 meters, 13.5% gradient. This will split the field with whichever group is off the back. Not every group necessarily, but whatever group is the furthest off the back, the first group to lose contact will probably not regain contact. You can see just how steep this is. We're actually at 15% gradient right now. We're already preparing for the next one. 4 kilometers this time. The average is much less at 5.6%, but the third climb in just a handful of kilometers is definitely going to do some damage. At the moment, we have a peloton of just 30. It's not going to stay at just 30. A lot of them will regain contact with us. But you can see the groups behind are now splitting. Those 68 or 100, most of those will probably make it back. And actually, we just split ourselves here. So the 87 really isn't quite doing it here. I'm going to make sure these guys don't get dropped, because you can never know. Things might not come back together. I would imagine this group of 88 will remake contact. But again, those groups to the back probably will not. We've got a little bit of calm before the storm continues here. A slow crest over the top, a slow descent before we go up again. And that's going to allow a little bit of time for things to settle, but it's not much. I mean, you can see from here to the end, it's fairly relentless. I mean, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, again and again. And you're already starting to see the punishment within the group. But here's my group of 87, chasing hard. Jasper Stuyven bringing us back. Michael Valgren bringing us back. And now we're back to a peloton of 112, and my entire team back in the front group. Now, breakaway. I always got to keep an eye on that one. You never know when suddenly the gap is too much and they're too far away. There they are, right off in sight there, just 2 minutes ahead. So their lead is not looking secure at all, meaning more likely than not, your winner is coming out of the front 115, but more likely the 112 that are here. Speed things up for a little bit. Here we go. Into that next climb. 4.5K, 5.8% gradient. This will split off probably another group. See, pace-wise, I think 90 is fine. We're going to have to take that risk of sliding backwards slightly, but too many splits, and we definitely will not cover them off, so we're going to use up some riders.
Now the guys up front are asking serious questions of the riders in the rear, as more of them are left in the wake.
Now this was the high point. As we crest here, that is the highest elevation we're going to hit on the day. After this, it gets a little bit easier, in a sense, but it's definitely not going to ease up. Now, at the moment, Sean Bennett and Felci are both fading on the verge of getting dropped here. So for Bennett and Felci, let's go ahead and use their gel now. make use of these guys while we can. Give them a little recovery, give them a little bit longer to help the team. Peloton down to 72, and at this point I'm starting to get the impression that riders will not come back. Those 25 are close. They're only a minute off the front of our group, meaning there's really only a handful of seconds between us, but we're about to climb again, and that is the main impetus for most of those riders not regaining contact. Here we go. Next one is 2.5K, 5%, and we go up again. Okay, Felchi, Bennett, gel active, and they're back in position, protecting their guys. Barta's sliding back a little bit more compared to the others, so I'm going to put him up to a 91 just to help him keep position a little better. It looks like Felchi fading first. Yes, he is. So he's going backwards. Bennett is going backwards. And we're going to hit another climb almost immediately. We're going over the top of this one. They have not been dropped yet, but it's a very short downhill before we go up again. There you go. There's already the intersection and the bottom. And we start heading back up. Not categorized for here. It's very short, but it's already on another hill. Okay, those two have had lost contact for a moment there. Let's go ahead and set those two to auto. Now Felchi about to lose contact. He with 4 others. Bennett also on the cusp of losing contact with another 6 guys. There we go. We're down to 65. Gino Mater also. Let's use Mater's gel now. Let's use Dianigi's gel now. These guys are all just hanging on Dianigi. Let's get you protecting somebody. Somebody. Let's get you on Logan Owen, and Barta is going to get on Narvaez because I think Mater is. He's done. Mater's not going to regain contact. The little downhill section here is not going to be enough. So we'll watch as he and maybe another 20 or so are about to go out. Oh, 20% gradient coming up. Oof. Here we go. 2K, 9% average, but it's very steep. And we've caught the breakaway. And we're going to watch as Mater most likely goes out the back here. Dianigi and Mater both with their gels kicking in. So we're down to 66 riders. Here's the steep section. And this is where Mater's probably going to lose contact. But maybe not. He's surviving. We do need that water one last time, and this is about the time to send somebody back to get it. Dianigi also fading very quickly here on this climb. Group is really thinning out. It's going to make it a lot easier if it actually breaks contact, which it has not done yet. Mater lost contact. There's, okay, Dianigi's group out. 48 riders now. Still a little bit more than what I expected in terms of riders. 31K to go, though. So if we're going to do anything in this race, we're running out of time. Running out of riders. It's more like it, not necessarily time. Okay, this climb's definitely not as bad, and it's also time to send somebody. We got to get water, Owen. Short distance to the back. Just don't lose contact, please. Okay, good. He does not. Get back up there. Get back up there. A little descent coming. Narvaez looking pretty good at this point. Owen needs to get in position so he can recover a little bit too, and he is really struggling to do that. Go to the outside here. Come on. Owen. Ride! Idiot. Fly, you fool! You know? Okay, he finally got the water up there, but ended up only recovering slightly. And pace. Pace is now a major thing here, guys. Can't lose it here. The group is getting very small, and Alaphilippe already trying to ride off the front here with 20K to go. And yes, pace, 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 pace. Don't get dropped. Come on. Barta falls out the back. Goodbye. Down to 2. But also 2 that just lost contact along with Geraint Thomas, Patrick Conrad, Primoz Roglic. Let's hope those guys pull us back. Owen. Protect Narvaez. There we go. Regain contact, and yes, we definitely need to maintain pace now. We need to authorize full-on 99 here. Can't afford to get dropped. Alaphilippe off the front, but he's just right there. He's going to get pulled back. This is the last high point of the day. The last 2 climbs are much shorter, but they're very steep. Owen, already? Really? You just went in to protect Narvaez a moment ago, and he's done. The pace is just crazy at the front, clearly, at the moment. Okay, Owen's done. Narvaez, all alone, 25 riders. So we're looking at a top 25 right now for Narvaez, but these last couple climbs are going to be really tough. He's got that hills speed, but it's draining the energy very, very quickly. I think at this point, I'm afraid of the next climb. It's the final climb after that, and that's the one that we're going to be in contention for. Alaphilippe's been pulled back, so it's 25 riders against the world, but under 10k to go. I'm nervous about this next climb, though. Narvaez recovering well here. Seven and a half k. Owen's been picked up. He's in that 26-27 position here. 1.2k, St. Nicholas. 8.8% gradient. Here we go. Bob Jungels pushing the pace. Ease up. That's okay, Narvaez. Ease up. Yeah. You're okay. You can slide back a little bit here over the top, because now we can prepare you for the last one. Now you step it up. Jungels off the front. Here we go. Gel time for Narvaez. 24 riders. Looking closer to a top 20 now. He's got a little energy. And he's got his gel. And he's got 3k to go. And we're in a good position here. Jungels has been caught. And here we go. The final climb. This is it. 2k to go. Not a 99. Not a 99. But go with the 93 here. 1.4k. Need to use your pace here. 95. Just, yeah, stay in the group. Stay in the group. 700 meters. 700 meters. Sprint, 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 sprint. Is this enough for a top 10? I don't think so. I think we're just outside the top 10. Can we get there? Alaphilippe takes the win. Lambrecht, Valverde, Madaway, Fulsang, Bernal, Woods, Yates, Clark. Oh, he's so close to the top 10. Jungels by a hair. Narvaez takes 11th. Oh, I was hoping he could hang on for that. Oh, that he could get over the top of Jungels there to get 10th. He was so close. So close. Now, for a rider who's a 72 average overall, right? He's only a 76 on the hills and has nothing else. The stamina, the resistance, it's all low. The sprint, the acceleration. He's decent for a continental rider. He is definitely not at that World Tour level. We were not going to contest the victory. I was just happy we were even in the group and getting that top 25. But as we were going up the hill, it was looking more and more like we would at least compete for that 10th as we got into those final few hundred meters. And I thought he might have had it there. I really thought that he was going to pull that together and squeeze his way into the top 10. He ran out of energy right at the finish line, so everything was timed just right for what he had capability-wise as a rider. It was such a good ride by Narvaez there. Really, job well done. I mean, the fact that he's even keeping up with Bob Jungels is pretty amazing, especially with a base stamina of 67 and resistance of 68. Yes, he's got the hills, but he's only got one of 3 components. And even the hills rating, right? Alaphilippe's an 84, or whatever it is on this variation of my series, but he's about an 84. So, we were not competing with Alaphilippe. The fact that we were even competing for the top 10, though, was pretty awesome. Boy. This game, though, treats 11th the same as it treats 25th, other than the points involved. So, super prestige points, yeah, the difference between 10th and 11th is one position. But sponsored evaluation, recognition, top 10 would have been major. 11th, nothing. Excuse me.
Now for the race highlights.
There we are with that chase. I mean, we're well behind Youngles. I mean, we were 1 second away from turning it into 9th, even millimeters away from 10th. But we were 5 meters away from making it 9th place. So we were still coming with pace, and those guys were just. They were done. They were fading, but they had gotten ahead of us a little bit. But in the group, in amongst it, that's all good. I see the Turkey. We did finish off in 2nd place. That was the last episode. Yeah, go ahead and push forward a day here. Or actually, we'll push forward a little more. We'll get into the month of May here. You know what? We don't need to do that. Oh, sure we do. Sure we do. Because we are going to end this episode with that beginning of May. And we're going to get our first intro into dossiers. So we're going to get our first 30 points for this year. And we're going to open those puppies up and see what we can do. Of course, my first objective on the calendar as we move forward, my first objective on the dossier is re-signing the quality riders that we have. Cassart, he's gone, but the other 3 riders with expiring contracts, I'd like to get all of them back. The best way to do that is to have them all accept the smallest deal that we could offer and get them to accept, which means we need them to really want to re-sign with the team. And that means that's where my dossiers begin, are with the existing team members with expiring contracts. So before we get into that, let's do a select all. Let's unselect that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the dossiers, and let's start with my riders. Why is he not even listed? That's a little odd. Okay, then here's the amazing thing. It's only 2 points each, and they're all already relatively interested, so I like that. They're all 72s. Ooms would be the first one of the 3 to go. McNulty, Narvaez, they both offer something. Narvaez, our best puncher, as we just saw. LBL took 11th. McNulty, not as good as Evenepoel, but he's definitely our second best stage racer. And he's our best support rider. And after letting Sepp Kuss go last season, we're really thin in the climbers. And to get that stage racing, we need 2 or 3 climbers. Plus, all 3 of them very young. So we begin with these guys. And even though they should easily get up to 100%, it's only 2 points. So I am perfectly happy spending 6 points right away on these guys. And this, I think, was a little bit of a mistake last season. The email tells you to go out and go after the big names you want first. But if you use up all 30 points on the big names, and then when you go after your own riders and they don't have top-end interest, right? What are you supposed to do then? Fabio Jakobsen, 78 sprinter for Duquesne Quick Step, is super interested in our team. Look at that. Look at these guys. Lopez, Rowan Dennis, Jakobsen, Stefan Kung, and Egon Bernal. Dude, thank you. You want to come be a team leader for us, and that would absolutely, any of those 5 guys, that would put us in World Tour. When you combine one of them with what we have now in terms of, and for one of them, I would pass on the contracts of McNulty or Narvaez or Ooms or all 3 if it were necessary, because Venepul and Philipsen both at 76, along with a 77, 78, 79, would put us over the top. That would put us in the World Tour. So, and the oldest among them is Rowan Dennis at 29. I thought Rowan Dennis was like 79. No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I honestly thought Rowan Dennis was approaching 40 years of age. Why I thought that, I do not know, but just years and years of him in the peloton, and for some reason in my mind, he was absolutely just within a couple of years of Valverde, who is obviously the senior man in the field. But yes, okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you. Now, there's plenty of interest out there, and that interest should not drop. Here's the thing. I shouldn't have to open a dossier on them. From what I've seen, interest goes up, does not go down. The only way it goes down is if you start investing to improve interest, and then you cancel. When you cancel, bam, 0%, they will not sign with you. So once you choose to start investing those points, you're locked in on that. So we're now looking at Egan Bernal, clear number 1 choice for me. If I could sign Bernal, that's our first go-to. So we will be trying to sign Egan Bernal to the team. Holy crap! If we get Bernal, I mean that's your already. I want to use the term world champion, but Tour de France champion. Right? It's not the official Worlds, but it's the biggest title of the year. To me, it's bigger than the Rainbow Bands winning the Tour de France. And I would say it probably is far more prestigious to most riders. I think one clear example is the conversations that I've had in the comments with a number, and I think some of you are still listening on this. We've talked about the quality of Peter Sagan, and I've made the claim at some point that he's the best rider of all time. But I was specific about how I say he's the best rider of all time, not all around. But he's the best bike handler of all time. He's the best on the bike in his respective way. He does something unique that nobody else can match. Now, what has he done title-wise? Because he's a great sprinter, but he's not the best sprinter. He's really good at long classics, but he's not the best there either. He's really good at downhill. Might be the best there. But in so many ways, he's not necessarily number 1. But his control of the bike is better than anybody else all time. And he just does these unique things and finds ways to win races that, looking at his profile, he shouldn't be winning. And he's a showman in a way that others are not. So he's a celebrity rider that others can't match. But back to the point here, what he does have is multiple World Championship titles. But what has been really quick to be pointed out to me is he doesn't have Tour de France titles. He's got points jerseys up the yin-yang and lots of stage victories. But he didn't win the Tour de France, and that's why I'm kind of saying you almost feel like you got to label Bernal as world champion in a sense. But of course it's Tour de France. And he's done that at 22, right? Here in game, he's already 23 and still just a 77 overall. But guaranteed, he's got the potential. He's got the potential. We're going to assign a scout anyway, but... and actually, I'm going to do this to each of these guys right now. Assign scout. Boom, boom, boom. To me, Rowan Dennis is the one that I would be not so sure about for two reasons. One, I still, in my mind, picture him as somebody much older than he is in-game, but he's still the oldest one by 3 years of the 5. But second, his specialty, time trial. What purpose does that serve the team in the long term? Time trials are the least frequent type of race that we're going to be participating in. And other than 3 times a year, I think there's maybe 4 times a year, there are 2 time trial specific classics. And then you have the individual time trial for national and then worlds. There is a team team time trial that is out there, and so that could make a 5th one. But that one is invitation only, and it doesn't pop up on your calendar unless it's a sponsor objective. From what I've seen, anyway. I've never seen it available as a choice unless it was already given to me as a sponsor objective. Now, that means 5 races that are purely all of them. Outside of that, the whole rest of the year, it's one of numerous stages. Now, can it change a race? Is it important for a stage racer? Absolutely. But a time trial specific rider, it's good to have a couple decent time trialers on your team for those team time trials to help your stage racer, but not to be the dominant force, not to be your team leader who's paid more than everybody else on the team. If you have the budget for it, sure, you'd love to have Rowan Dennis, but I don't think I'd be paying $50,000 for Dennis when I could pay that for Miguel Angel Lopez and he could go win a bunch of races. Or more specifically in this case, sign a long-term contract to Egan Bernal, who's going to be, an 80 in a couple seasons. And maybe even pay him less than Lopez because he's a 77, he's a 78. Stefan Kung would be kind of the next one on that list. Jakobsen, not as big a fan there just because we have Philipsen right now, who is that top sprinter for us, though I certainly wouldn't mind getting him, and I certainly wouldn't mind getting him before we get Dennis or Kung. Kung, at least on the other hand, does have the crazy high... doesn't have crazy high stamina, but he's got a great flat rating and good stamina and really good resistance and good cobble rating. So he can definitely do classics. I'm surprised he's not classified as classics first and time trial second, but I suppose with those ratings you can see why. So favorite, Bernal, Lopez, then Jakobsen, then Kung, then Dennis, in that order. But with 100% interest, I'm absolutely willing to try every single one of them before we sign anybody else. And pay them whatever they would take as long as it's within our budget range. Now, with a lot of time spent analyzing that, sorry, I probably should have spent a little less time on that one. Let's now see what is available to us. Alaphilippe has his contract coming up. He's not going to sign for us. We can't afford him. There's Sagan, the aforementioned rider. Again, we cannot afford him. Can't believe that these guys are willing to sign. Dumoulin out of reach. Now we're starting to get into like Simon Yates. Maybe points are a little bit less. There is some interest there already, and I'm definitely thinking about Simon Yates as an option. So here's the thing. At this point, I want to get McNulty, Narvaez, and Ooms back on the team and continue to develop the team. But I would also like to get us into the World Tour. All that's going to take is one top rider. One top rider, and we're into the World Tour. With or without these three guys. Now, the team takes a little plus minus if we take a top rider, because I will not be able to afford to bring all three of them back. But we get back what we can based on whatever money we have left. So, I've got two areas of attack when it comes to these deals. First off, re-signing these three, right, if we can't get a top rider. That's going to take most of the budget. There's not going to be much left to bring in anybody else. There's already some riders with interest. So, okay, yeah, we're off to a good start. So really, I'm just kind of looking at who are the best riders that I could possibly get. Simon Yates is certainly one of them and has some interest. And the points aren't that bad. Let's assign a scout here and see what we can get. He's very famous. I'm worried. What is he making now? 66,000. So I don't even think that's in our budget range now. I mean, I haven't looked at what are these guys making currently. Oh, 3,500. Okay, 8,000 and 12,500 plus 25 more. So 37.5 is all that we're freeing up, and we're almost at max budget now. We do have a little bit of play out there in the staff, I think. So we've got roughly 40,000. I can't afford Yates. That's 40,000. I probably can't afford Bernal either, but I would imagine he's making, well, he's already making at least that much. Yeah. So we need to step back a little bit. Definitely not going after Yates. Those guys already have the interest, so I'm not spending anything on them. Quintana's only 30. Wow. He has taken such a big step back in the last couple of years that you would think he's much older, but he's been at the top of his game for quite a few years, and I could see the wear and tear affecting him. Ciccone could be a real option for us. Let's go ahead and... What is he making, though? That's at the edge. That is at the edge. But we can open one on him. What is that? Oh. Increased points cost. Gotcha. Dan Martin, no. Oliver Nassen. No. Enrique Mas. Having a little bit of interest makes a big difference. I think all these guys are 0 to 15. So let's look at 76s, because I think 3 76s might be enough to push us to World Tour. And we're getting into higher percentages here. So Lutsenko, Dylan Van Barl, and Mads Pedersen all looking good. Pedersen, somebody I really wanted to get this last year. So do we have 15 points left? We do. That might be our way to go, because after that we push into the 75s, where instantly interest jumps a lot. But these guys have some interest. And we might be able to afford these guys. Okay, we have 2 points remaining. Almost. These guys are 3 points. I would love to get Rudy Millard going, even though he's 30. Let's see, when do we get down to 2 points? There we go. 74s, and we're already down to 2 points. Sylvain Dillier. Venturini. Pretty good sprinter. That's an option right there. Alexei Viermos. How are we looking? Not at 31. No. Bustelberger. No. Jansen. Okay, that's decent. He does a few things for you, right? And at 26, he's going to be a bit more affordable, and he's a 74. Classics guy. I mean, that could be right now. That's where I'm leaning. I think we're going to be down to 73s here. Oh, and the cost suddenly goes down for these 73s, like Darwin Adapuma. Let's see if we get any climbers in here. Nicola Conchi, but he's 3 points. Yuri Gottwald, puncher unknown, good on hills, decent in the mountains already. Let's assign a scout, and I just forgot that I already have. We're going to go ahead and open that one. I already have my scouts active, and that's one thing I had a problem with last year. Last season. I have my scouts going after young talent, and that doesn't directly correlate. You have to actually go through and find these guys. These 5 to 8 young talents that I am... There you go, close monitoring, like this guy. Knowing more about him is important, and you've got to open the dossiers on them on the just in case, so we need to do that next time out. But there you go, we've got our first group of dossiers done. That's pushing us into the year, so we are off to the races. And boy, oh boy, if we could sign one of those big names. I don't think we're going to be able to afford those big 5 guys, but you never know. Maybe 100% interest, maybe one of them is going to be willing to step up. Or maybe we get a new sponsor to come along that gives a significant increase, more than just the $25,000. I doubt it, but maybe. Could happen. It could happen. So, we're looking real good. 12th in the World Tour rankings as a Continental Pro team who's barely getting into World Tour races. We have slipped to 2nd in the Continental, though. We haven't raced at the Continental level in quite a while. It's been all World Tour races for the last, month and a half? So, calendar's been a little light. Super Prestige, though, 4th. No Continental Pros anywhere else on the top 18. And we're all the way up in 4th. So, pretty freaking fantastic. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.